you see on offense that just didn't work for you, and obviously didn't work for the Hawks.
The constant turnovers.
3 total turnovers, you bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, gosh, I don't know how many times we ran for a loss.
Where was the running game, by the way?
Well, Rawls is out. Did not help.
No, I mean, we all know that Rawls is out. We all know that Beast Mode's injured. But you still have to run. You still have to play the game. You still have to at least give them the ball. There were 41 pass attempts. Where were the rushing attempts?
They were mixed in there. They just weren't very successful.
I didn't see much of the zone read. I didn't see the I formation. I mean, I did see Will Tukuafu take one off of his breadbasket and bounce it into the defensive backfield.
That was also planned.
That was also planned?
Of course.
Okay, great. All right. Well, it wasn't just the running game that was a problem. Russell Wilson, Steve, he did not look very sharp.
No. I mean, he obviously something was going on with his legs. He had some sort of an injury or.
Yeah, there was that one play where he got speared by the opposing team, and he slid.
Yeah, and then
I didn't say it was a foul. I don't think it was a foul.
Speared, but that usually implies leading with the helmet. I don't think he was led with the helmet.
Well, the guy did lead with the helmet, but it hit him in the
shoulder.
Hit him with the foot or something like that.
Whatever.
But he did come up
There
limping.
was contact with the feet, yes.
He did come up limping, and that was the important thing, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
So what? That limited his mobility?
As possible. Well, the Rams' defense they were on point. They didn't give us very many opportunities, and there were several plays where they just ran right past our O-line, and then he's scrambling to make a play out of nothing.
Speaking of defense, Matt, tell me what happened with the Seahawks defense. This is not a good offense that they faced.
No, it's not one of the stronger ones in the league. It's definitely kind of hindered now that they're on their backup quarterback. They started the season with Nick Foles. They're on Case Keenum now, who is a cast-off from the Texans. But actually, he only threw 103 yards passing. Can you believe that today? He only threw 103.
Ran.
But
so actually, the defense did a pretty decent job.
He didn't make any mistakes, though. This is a young quarterback could potentially.
Okay, we got to run a break here.
He's a young quarterback, potentially making a lot of mistakes, and I understand. I'm taking off my gloves now because it causes some interference. Anyway, so this is a young defense. And
can't take him anywhere. He's wearing gloves indoors.
Yeah. Anyway, and so this is a young quarterback, okay, and he's prone to making mistakes. He did not make any mistakes at all. I was very impressed with him. Our defense overall, it was very lackadaisical. I mean, it was like they were kind of lethargic. They weren't really going after the ball as hard as they could. And a big thing that speaks to that is the Rams center Tim Barnes recovered 2 fumbles. 2 fumbles that we probably should have gotten. We actually had our hands on multiple times.
Well, we might have had it tied up.
Gotten?
We totally should have gotten.
Yes,
that is absolutely, that's how you say it. That's English. What are you talking about?
Not recovered.
No, we shouldn't have recovered. We should have gotten.
Okay, we should have gotten it. Okay,
yes.
I'll accept that.
One last comment.
That's an Oregon duck right there.
Yeah,
for
absolutely. One last problem I did notice was Richard Sherman, uncharacteristically, he got beat hard by Kenny Britt for that touchdown.
That was a hell of a catch.
It was a hell of a catch. He had a hell of a burst of speed, but he got some serious separation from Sherman. And
it was one play, but I mean,
he burned it.
All cornerbacks give up a play.
It was
here
an
and there.
important play.
It was an important play, but
it turned into a very important play.
You look at the fumble that also turned into a touchdown.
Yeah.
There's 14 points with just those 2 plays. It's just one play, but
but all those one plays add up into a lot of plays.
Yeah, and then you throw in our 10 penalties.
Yeah, we had some conversation today over messaging and Twitter and whatnot. By the way, check us out at Seattle Sports U on Twitter. We were talking about like all the penalties. Somebody was mentioning that the refs were trying to screw us. It was in fact our technical director Bob. But I just want to say, you know what? In life, you make your own luck.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad luck that the refs screwed us. We screwed ourselves.
We were playing very sloppy. We
didn't
holding.
Deserve it.
We deserved pretty much every call we got.
Wilson ran past the line of scrimmage and threw the ball. That's
He
not the
absolutely-
referee's fault.
Yeah, there were some
No, he
challenges we made too.
Earned a timeout.
Both challenges should not have been thrown.
There was no reason for those challenges. I mean, they're pretty blatantly evident. And I don't know who he has up in the booth helping him out, but Pete Carroll needs to reel back.
Yeah, he needs to reassess whoever that person is. That person needs to take some time off.
Okay. Well,
Bad advice.
yeah, this game's been aggravating, but
Frustration.
good news. There are 7 Seattle Seahawks going to the Pro Bowl. Now, hopefully we go to the Super Bowl and don't have to worry about watching the Pro Bowl. But I want to ask you guys, Russell Wilson, Tyler Lockett, Richard Sherman, Bobby Wagner, Earl Thomas, Michael Bennett, and Cam Chancellor. They're all in. Steve, did any one of those guys not deserve to be there? Did anybody not earn it?
Well, I really think they all earned it. However, some maybe more than others. Lockett, I think, earned it. He's been playing great. I'm really happy with him. Chancellor, he's a good player, but I was a little upset with his little temper tantrum holdout at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Russell Wilson, to be honest, he didn't start off all that great. He started off on a lovely losing streak.
He got in mainly on the last 5 games.
Yeah, 19 touchdowns.
Matt, did anybody get in that shouldn't have got in?
I think you could almost make the case that Cam Chancellor was borderline due to the time he missed at the beginning, the time he's missing this game. But the clear difference in how well our defense has played when he's there versus when he wasn't it shows how much he means, how much of a presence he is on the field.
I thought the 2 missed games, basically on his own volition by holding out, speak a lot to his character. I would not have voted him in to the All-Star game. I might have replaced him with KJ Wright, but whatever. Everybody else did a great job, and I think they all deserve to get in. All right, guys, got a question for you. Why does the NFL Pro Bowl game get such good ratings? Why? It gets better ratings than playoff games for the NBA, the NHL, and the MLB. The only thing close was a game 6 in the NBA playoffs last season. That was the only thing close, and that was a full Nielsen rating point behind the 2015 Pro Bowl game.
I can tell you why.
Okay.
It's quite simply the NHL and the NBA playoffs take 6 months each. So people tune it out and don't pay attention at all. And after a while, you stop caring. And you go, wait, the playoffs are still going on? And as for the MLB, Joe Buck. Joe Buck destroys all
right.
MLB
No.
games possible.
No.
Makes it unwatchable.
All right. What about you, Steve? What do you think?
We don't have an NHL team. We don't have an NBA team. We had a team.
He's talking nationwide.
I'm talking
though.
national. I'm talking national ratings.
I like the football games mean a lot more. There aren't as many.
But it's exhibition. It's exhibition, though. It's not like
It's
I'm talking
Pro Bowl.
World
It's not
Series.
playoff.
It's
It's
just
playoffs.
people just I don't know. For me personally, it bores the heck out of me. I can't.
The
Let's
All-Star
watch
game?
Tom Brady because his team got eliminated, throw 3 passes and then get taken out, and then stand on the sideline and play volleyball with somebody. I don't understand why people want to watch that.
I'll put it this way. Actually, I find the All-Star game kind of boring. The only one
The Pro Bowl or the All Star?
Pro Bowl
Okay.
game. Yeah, sorry. They're all All-Star games.
Yeah, they
right?
are.
The only one I find reasonably interesting is baseball. But now that like the National League and the American League are both playing, now even that's not interesting to me. The Pro Bowl, I think, where it gets like all of its, all of these people interested in watching, is because they were smart. They put it right before the Super Bowl.
It's the empty weekend. Before the Super Bowl.
There's 2 weeks off.
There's that, and you have all these people who it's not just 2 teams; it's all these players from all over. So, we have 7 players that are going to be playing. So I'd be willing to bet that every Seahawk fan's going to be watching.
If we don't make it to the Super Bowl.
If we don't make the Super Bowl,
yeah.
Well, I was thinking about it, and I thought, well, maybe if you're looking at like NBA or Major League Baseball, maybe putting that All-Star game in the middle makes sense because they're long seasons. Same with NHL.
Yeah.
The NFL is a long season, but there are fewer games. And
True.
obviously, if you put an All-Star game in the middle, people get hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody would like that. Just brilliance again, I think, when they moved it from after the Super Bowl to just before the Super Bowl. Yes, you don't get players from the Super Bowl teams, but you get people while they're still interested and still wanting to watch it. All right, guys. Well, the Seahawks game was a disappointment, but let's move on to what this show is really about today. That's college football. We need to cut to break, but for more commentary on the Seahawks, check us out at SeattleSportsUnion.com. We will be back momentarily with the Cougars and the Huskies. Welcome back to Seattle Sports Union. We are the best in Seattle sports commentary. This segment is brought to you by Five Low Sports. Five Low, the originator of the world famous arm socks. It's winter, and though the weather's cold, you don't need to be. Check out Five Low for their assortment of scarves, beanies, arm socks, and all your favorite team colors. Look for them at stores near you and at www.fivelow.com. All right, guys. I feel like I've stepped into the danger zone with Husky hater Steve Phifer and Husky hater Matt Paige. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Heart of Dallas Bowl and the Husky victory over Southern Miss. Were they Northern Miss?
Southern Miss,
Southern
Golden
Mississippi.
Eagles.
Southeastern Mississippi?
Golden Eagles.
Okay, all right. A team that most people didn't realize existed until until the Huskies went and played them.
They're Conference USA, so yes, they are a smaller school.
Well, I noticed you guys were watching the game too, and I just wanted to ask you guys some questions as a Cougar fan, as a Duck fan, without any emotional tie, and just people that were like, well, I hope the Huskies lose, that kind of mentality. What did you see out of the Husky offense, Steve?
They actually did really good. Put up almost 600 yards, 300 rushing. almost 300 passing. So
Nice
and
balance.
yeah, a true. I believe the quarterback's a freshman. Yeah.
Yeah, Jake Browning. You were impressed by his performance then?
Yeah. If you can throw 600 yards as a freshman, you're doing something right.
Hey.
What about the running game? Did you find anything specific about that you could pull out there? As in one Miles Gaskin from Linwood, Washington.
Well, all right.
He's adequate.
Was he average?
He's
okay.
adequate.
Was he average?
He was average.
Okay.
He might play for the Ducks.
He may have thrown, or excuse me, had a
Run.
6-yard run. Whatever. I don't know. They don't accomplish much.
May have had 181 yards on the ground.
4 touchdowns.
Maybe
Yeah.
4 touchdowns.
Sorry, I only pay attention.
Did you want to see more out of him? Like that wasn't enough to make you feel like this kid deserves a starting role.
I would have loved to have seen Mississippi just take you guys to town, to be honest.
Okay, Matt. What was your impression as a innocent bystander
Well,
on the defense of the Dogs?
first of all, I have to say I take a different mentality. I root for the conference. Once we've hit bowl time, I root for the conference, and I do like to see because I like to not have my Husky friends be depressed all off season. Okay, so I like to see them do well every now and then. But as far as defensively, the Huskies did I was very impressed. They held the offense only to 375 yards, which is 22 rushing yards. Just 22 rushing yards by Southern Mississippi, which is pretty impressive. Since Southern Miss led the nation with most plays over 20 yards this year. So that's, the Huskies held them in check very well.
Well, that quarterback, Colin Mullen, whatever his name is, he actually was ranked right above Luke Falk for most passing yards in the country.
Yeah, and he was definitely contained. They definitely held him in check. And I have to say, I absolutely continue to be impressed. The Huskies lost 4 key components to their defense in the offseason last year to the NFL draft. 3 of them in the first round, and they still have an incredibly stout defense. And I just have to give a shout out, Travis Feeney.
Yeah,
he does not get enough credit.
Do you see him in the NFL next year? He's a senior.
I'm looking at I was looking at some of the draft projections, and I saw him rated. A lot of people have him in the 4th or 5th round. I think if someone gets him in the 4th or 5th round, they're going to get a steal. I think he's 2nd round, maybe even into the 1st round. To be perfectly honest, I'm amazed with his talent. There was one specific play where he got his only sack recorded for the. I guess I'm having some mic troubles here. He had his only recorded sack was the rushing 4. And he blew right through that offensive line and sacked the quarterback without even trying.
I do remember
amazing.
that play. I joke about Southern Miss. I called him Eastern Miss or North South Missouri or Mississippi Tech or whatever. But you know what? Their offense was really, really good. And I know they're coming out of Conference USA, but they can play some offense down there. They know how to fling the ball out. I think where some of these mid-major colleges get into trouble is defense because they were not able to stop the Husky offense at all.
Yeah.
What'd you say? 181 yards rushing by Miles Gaskin, 4 TDs. Jadon Minkins got that backwards. He had a field day in his senior bowl.
That
game.
rush was it a catch?
29-yard run, yeah.
That for the touchdown was just incredible. He was running at a speed different from everyone else in the field.
Oh yeah.
He was definitely running 5 steps faster than everyone else.
And you take a look at Eastern Washington University. They gave your Ducks a little bit of a fit, right?
Oh, yeah.
They almost beat the Huskies last year,
Yeah.
and then Portland State took one from the Cougars. So some of these small colleges, they can, the good ones can put points on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that depth and
they don't have the depth and
the defense that tend not to be there.
The raw athletes, the raw athletic ability to maintain later in the game.
Yeah, to keep up. And that's usually why you see a lower, a mid-tier what do you call it, mid-major?
Yeah.
Yeah, mid-major, or a FCS team. They can like put together 1 or 2 good quarters,
Yeah, and then they start to fade.
and then they get to fade because like the athleticism isn't there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I had said at the beginning of this season that Chris Peterson was in serious doubt as to, for me, as to what his level of contribution to bringing this program back was going to be. But 6-6 record with true freshmen at running back, at quarterback,
7-6.
and now 7-6 in this bowl game exceeded my expectation from 2 guys who are not Husky fans, obviously. What was your expectation, Steve, at the beginning of the year, and what do you think of them now after going 7-6?
They're going to be a tough team to beat in the future.
But what did you
Yeah.
think before the season started?
Oh, it was hard to say. You never know. Sometimes you get the diamond in the rough, and sometimes you just get you get a lump of coal.
All right. So what are you expecting for next year then?
I expect that they will do very well. I expect that WC will beat them, however, in the Apple Cup next year.
Commit to a win total. How many wins? Yeah, that's right. I'm making you.
You're on the spot.
I'm putting you on the spot.
This time next year we're gonna.
I want to commit you.
All right,
I want to
fair
commit
enough. 9.
you.
9
I'll
wins.
go 9
Okay.
9 wins for you.
And a decent bowl game then.
Well,
Obviously,
with
9
with
nine
nine-
games to the
behind
9
2
will get you a
Yeah.
decent bowl game. Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will be in the Rose Bowl, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, they can
Uh,
have they can have our
The Sun Bowl,
We'll get the Sun Bowl,
You know, where
or
it
the Holiday
snowed.
Bowl, or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Snow Bowl. Matt, as an Oregon fan, someone who doesn't watch all the time, but you still live in Seattle, so you hear a lot about the Huskies. What was your expectation at the beginning of the season, and what do you think of this season? How and where it progressed to?
I'm sure we have a recording of my projection at the beginning of the season, and I'm sure we can go back and look at it and make fun of me after I say this. But I think I remember saying that they'd probably win 7, maybe 8 wins, and so they're not too far off of what I thought.
Okay.
He crystallized the defense. He built up a very good offensive core with a bright young quarterback, a bright young running back, deep threat there at wide receiver. You got Ross coming back next year, who's an even bigger threat. In my opinion, you guys might be on top in the North. Pac-12 North is going to be vicious next year
Mhm.
with Oregon. With
Cougars.
Stanford down from losing Hogan and and McCaffrey. Doesn't they lose McCaffrey, don't they?
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah, they'll lose McCaffrey. And then UW, Wazoo's up. I mean, it's going to be a brutal match. Cal is even going to be doing well.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
And you'd have to assume that Oregon State will be better in the second
yeah.
year of Gary Anderson.
Gary Anderson will definitely have finally gotten some more of his players, and they'll be up. They won't be quite ready yet to jump in the mix with the other teams, but
No, yeah.
it's going to be pretty.
We probably don't
fun to
need to.
watch.
We probably don't need to go back to our projection episode because I think you're right. You did have the Huskies in that 7-8 win range, and I will. Me, the Husky fan, I was doom and gloom when I heard a true freshman was going to be quarterback. I said, forget the season, 3 wins. Chris Peterson will be selling pencils on the side of the street. That's where I was, and I thought a 6-6 season was the best they could do. They did that, so they've gone beyond my expectations. I expect a great year out of them next year. All right, guys. Well, I expected much more of a hellacious harassment from these guys. I do respect their opinion.
We're playing nice.
No, I don't. I don't really respect your opinion. But we're headed to our next break, and we'll talk a little Sun Bowl action with our resident fans of the Cougs, Steve Phifer. All right, we'll be right back. Coming back from break.
No, I'm going to make you answer a question first.
Oh, there's a
He
question.
sent you a message here that we're trying to see
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, there's a question. Okay, we're not coming back from break
just yet here.
just yet. Brandon, that's your brother. Your
That is
brother
my
is
brother,
asking,
yeah.
what's your opinion on Mike Leach and how he's turned around the game? Well, Brandon, we're actually going to go into the Cougars on this next segment, and we will cover that when we come back from break. Welcome back to Seattle Sports Union's weekly live show, SSU Live. This segment is brought to you by Wisdom Within Radio. Lindsay Paul is our resident psychic medium spiritual healer and, of course, a friend of our show. Check out Lindsay Paul on YouTube and on podcasts as she talks about spirituality, quantum physics, mediumship, and more. That's Lindsay Paul at Wisdom Within Radio. Check her out. She knows her stuff. Well, the pirate is back. Mike Leach took your Cougars, Steve. That's right, your Cougars, to a bowl game.
His Cougars.
His
Not
Cougars.
ours.
They're not ours.
His.
It's with a 9-4 record. An amazing year for Wazoo. We're talking about a Sun Bowl game that saw a flurry of snow, not so much a flurry of scoring, but still a win over the Miami Hurricanes. We're here with Coug superfan Steve Phifer, Oregon Duck apologist Matt Paige, and me, Abraham DeWeese. All right, guys. Wazoo came out a firing. They scored 2 quick touchdowns, and then things kind of bogged down. What happened to the offense here, Steve?
I just watched it. I watched a really sloppy game, is what I watched. That's what happened. We got sloppy. I mean, there were a few throws that were thrown short, and overwhelming majority that were overthrown. And on top of that, I mean, you're overthrowing it. It's snowing or raining, whatever. The weather was just absolutely awful. Not conducive to trying to catch a ball that's thrown over your head.
No, you're right. And it looked like it was sloppy from both sides.
Yeah, no.
Miami
neither of
looked
us
like they
played
couldn't
well.
get much on offense either.
Yeah, it reminded me of the UW Arizona State game earlier this season. When
Oh,
there was
yes.
the monsoon at Husky Stadium, and both offenses were pretty much shut down. It became a rushing game. And it was so much rain, so much wind. No one could get anything running. I noticed Luke Falk had a lot of trouble making accurate throws later on in the game. The ball kept getting away from him.
Why, I don't blame him.
No,
I mean, yeah.
snowflakes the size of my hand were falling. I mean, it was
yeah.
it was huge.
Who's the running back? You had a running back who led your team both in receiving and rushing. He had something like 50 yards on the ground and another 60 yards in the air. Junior, I forgot his name. Anyway, that kid looked pretty impressive, but the problem was, like you said, he's not going to run out on a route with a stepladder to catch some of those passes that were 10 feet
Yeah,
above his head.
exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Exactly, yeah. No, but neither of the teams played well. I remember number 11. I don't know who that is, but number 11 on Miami. Several throws right to the chest. I probably just smacked the mic.
But the ball just bounced right. Yeah.
He just dropped it.
The ball bounced like a ball off the chest.
Yeah,
Off
no,
of
and then-
Rashawn, it was Scott, their wideout.
yeah.
Yeah.
Main guy.
Yeah.
Their senior who kept on dropping balls and kept getting hard on himself.
Did you see
Yep.
anything out of the Wazoo defense, Matt, that also contributed as much as the weather did?
You know, they got lucky towards the end of the game
Yeah.
a couple times. There was one play where just because this real light little block to the back or whatever, there was a touchdown recalled. It was the right call. The Cougs did benefit from the correct call, but it was kind of pansy. if you
Oh
ask
man,
me.
after that one, Miami Hurricanes had the ball on the 5,
Yeah.
and they just decided we don't want this ball.
No, we don't want it anymore.
Cougars, would you like this ball?
Here you go.
We
Have-
don't
have
want-
the ball.
We don't want to score a touchdown. I would like to say somebody on the Cougs gave him a crushing. It looked like his fingers were frozen.
Miami cooped it.
Miami Coug.
Miami Cougs.
They
Yes.
did. They did.
The broadcast team also had a lot more fun showing the topless fat guy in the stands
Yeah,
than the
engineer, I
game
believe.
itself.
What's that?
He was an engineer.
Yeah, he's
They
an
asked him-
engineer who graduated from Wazoo. They're like, did make sure he didn't graduate from the university.
That's almost as good as when you guys were messaging me that in the Heart of Dallas Bowl,
Oh yes.
some Cal hockey fan,
It
some
was
guy in a Cal
Cal
University
field hockey
jersey,
booing both teams at the Cotton Bowl in Texas.
the Heart of Dallas Bowl, yeah.
Yeah,
Which is the Cotton Bowl
Well, is the
stadium.
Cotton
Yeah.
Bowl is the name of the
Yeah.
stadium. At the actual stadium, he's there to see the wrong teams, and he was booing at both.
But they kept putting him on the
They
TV.
kept showing him. I was rooting for him. That was what I was watching. I was watching for him.
My favorite
I
thing
want that guy to win.
My favorite thing about the Sun Bowl was apparently it was really cold, snow, and obviously really snowy.
Oh yeah.
and looking at all the hurricanes around the heaters, like, you know,
Yeah,
and all the Cougs are
cut
just
to
like,
Wazoo, and they're just like, yeah, we got jackets, but
yeah.
we don't need that.
And then, like you
heaters.
said, the
Precisely.
Coug fans are all like shirtless and like,
This is a beautiful day.
what a nice sunny Sun Bowl game.
Yeah, well, and in Miami that day it was 76 degrees, and in Pullman it was actually like 3 degrees colder than El Paso. So yeah, it made sense.
I thought the Hurricanes didn't look like they wanted to be there, but you know what? Actually, they came surging back after halftime. They did score 2 touchdowns after halftime. What was as a Cougar fan, were you thinking like we're about to blow this?
It was possible until they made that fantastic throw with the running back.
Oh, when the
who
running
threw
back
it
halfback
halfway
pass.
there. Yeah.
Do you remember this play?
The interception?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was wonderful. That was wonderful. Here, you just throw it up in the air.
Let's see. It
was
snowing.
flyers up.
It's snowing. There's a driving prevailing wind.
There's one guy that I'm throwing to, and there's 7 guys in the wrong jersey in that area.
There's a running back wearing isotoner gloves, and we're going to give him the ball, and then he's going to throw it 50 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Is Alec Golden still coaching Miami?
no, he was not. He was fired before the game.
Are you
but-
sure he didn't call in for that one play? Like, I got a great idea, guys. I know I'm not coach.
Well, I know they had Mark Richt call in from Georgia, or the ex-coach from Georgia who's taken over after this game. But one thing I do think the Cougars really benefited defensively from the weather. In that, what I was mostly concerned about as I saw the matchup from day one, I was mostly concerned. Miami is traditionally stacked with athletes. They're
Yeah.
stacked with the speed. They're stacked with just absolute insane speed and finesse. And Cougars, they're a farm boy location, and they should be built like the Leach is taking them off their normal model, which is the farm boy, big, bulky running team, control the ball, control the clock. And since it's Pullman, they're not recruiting the level of athletes that Miami is. So I was concerned that later on in the game, Miami might be able to pull away
Bulldoze
a little bit.
him on.
Pull away a little bit. Maybe break away in the secondary and make some big plays. The snow put a complete stop to that. and yeah, there was some penalties that definitely helped out Wazoo, but there were also some big time turnovers like that interception that we just mentioned. And the Cougars hung in there.
It was weird. That halfback threw the ball, and it didn't spiral as much as it
Tumbled.
It didn't even flip
It was like
this.
a slow punt.
It was kind of like this.
It was a slow punt.
Looks like, okay, you guys remember when you were kids and you had a Nerf football?
Yeah, flyers up.
Yeah, it looked like that.
Yeah.
And not just a Nerf football, but like a very wet and soggy Nerf football. So it just,
Yeah, it was all over the place. It was not pretty.
definitely a wounded duck.
Oh.
But I'm saying the Ducks haven't had a good quarterback since Dan Fouts. You heard it from me.
Wow. All right. Yeah, I'll just gloss over the Heisman Trophy winner from last year, but okay.
Joey Harrington, was it?
Nah,
No?
whatever.
Okay.
We're talking about Dennis Dixon.
Dennis Dixon.
Kellen Clemens.
Yeah, but you know what though? When you're talking about Wazoo though,
12 in a year, though. 12 in a year. 12 in a
You're
row.
talking about Luke Falk, who is our Seattle Sports Union Athlete of the Year,
Absolutely.
and
Deservedly so.
the Sun Bowl was maybe not the best example, but like you said, the conditions were a little bit harsh. What did you think about Luke Falk when he took over for Connor Holiday? Like, had you ever heard of Luke Falk before? You might have heard of his sisters, who were country music famous stars, but
I actually hadn't. I vaguely remember Holiday.
well, you vaguely remember college.
Uh,
Here's a guy who did Wazoo
I did it
the
The
right
right
way.
Yeah.
So no, anyway, you never heard of him. What was your expectation before the season, and what do you consider like successful?
I think we did fantastic this year. To be honest, we coug it far too often. I hate to say it, but I think Falks really held it together.
Okay, so Matt, you're a guy who doesn't really, you don't follow Wazoo football. What was your what was your expectation of what they should have done this year and where they ended up?
Well, I do try to catch some Wazoo football whenever I can. They're the local team in terms of my local team I'll root for. But I think they did very well this year. I was actually impressed with how well they did. One key highlight that was brought up during this bowl game, the commentators brought it up, and I thought it was interesting, was you had the 117th rushing attack in the nation, but when you rushed, you averaged like 6.2 yards per carry. So if you actually rushed more, you would have had like the 20th rushing attack in the nation or something crazy like that. So, I mean, it's obvious that the talent is there, and I'm happy to see them do well after being terrible for so long.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they lost to Portland State this year. I thought it was done. I thought Mike Leach was going to be on the first bus to whatever next little tiny town in America he should belong at. But I mean, but he came back and won 9 freaking games.
Well, you should look at it this way: if they're good, then our wins against them count for more.
The bowl season's a lot different. The bowl season's a lot different than the regular season. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not. But I'm saying
you get a month to plan your game.
No, I know, but
you get people back from injury. It's not the same season. I mean, and that's what makes it special. That's why I like bowl games, is because
I agree.
It's a showcase. The season's over. I mean, none of the teams that we're rooting for are going to the playoffs and the championship.
No, I agree, but I meant overall, since as they do better, our wins against them look better, because then, considering the
Win against
championship
a better team,
playoffs or whatever, the rankings overall in the nation, our win against them looks better.
I don't really care about rankings. I mean, if you're not...
says a guy who roots for a team that hasn't been in the rankings very well for the last...
if it wasn't for us, you
the-
wouldn't have a
15
bowl
years.
game to begin with.
Well, hey, we got some
Very
champion...
prestigious bowl game. Not everybody gets to play
Yeah.
against Mississippi.
Southern Mississippi.
Sorry.
Take the Big 12 spot, because the Big 12 didn't have enough teams eligible.
Maybe one day you'll get a championship. All right, we got to run to a break. We'll talk to you guys right after these messages. We don't have messages, but if we did, it'd be right about now. And we're back for more Seattle Sports Union commentary. Again, with me, Abraham DeWeese, with Matt, no gimmick needed, Paige, and with Couganit Steve Phifer. We're stoked for another epic bowl season, a season that saw the Huskies win at the heart of Dallas, and we saw the Cougars win in the Sun Bowl. We've seen hearts shake, records break, and some memories made, and we're bowl bound. And the first bowl up on our list that we're going to talk about is a bowl game by a team that nobody likes. Not a one of us like this Alamo Bowl, with the Oregon Ducks and the Texas Christian University Horned Frogs. Matt, Paige, tell me honestly, do you think your team has any shot in hell of beating the mighty TCU Horned Frogs?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I think it's going to happen.
Yes, scintillating conversation from Matt Paige.
We're the
Why?
number 4. We're the number 4.
Why do you think they'll win?
We're the number 4 offense in the country. Yes, our defense is atrocious this year. Besides
115th ranked defense.
Aside from DeForest Buckner, our defense was absolutely terrible. But our offense, with Vernon Adams, when he's there and is coordinated and is there, is unstoppable. It's absolutely unstoppable. And honestly, if you take away the games that we lost when he wasn't there, which would be you guys,
Cougs were gonna beat them anyway.
Well, of course.
in overtime. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Michigan State is the game
Wanted
that we
to give
really
you guys a
lost with
chance.
Vernon Adams. Okay.
Mhm.
And we lost it in the final seconds of the game with a missed throw. It was a tight game. But guess what? Guess where Michigan State is? They're number 4 overall, and they're in the college football playoff right now.
Mhm.
That just
All
tells
right, so
you
you'd
what
be-
caliber of a team we are when we have Vernon Adams.
So they'd be 10-2 instead of 9-3. Got it. All right, and still
or
playing
11-1.
and still playing the TCU Horned Frogs. All right, so
No, we'd probably be in the we beat Stanford, so we'd
Uh-huh.
probably be in the Rose Bowl playing Iowa
no.
Yeah.
Why would you be in the Rose Bowl?
because we beat Stanford. And if we had one win more, we would have been above Stanford.
Well, your one win more would have been against whom?
It would have been against the Cougars because we.
Why
had
are you
Vernon
whispering?
Adams.
They can't hear
We
you.
would have beat Cougars with.
I like
Vernon
how you
Adams.
whisper on an internet show.
I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Hey guys, we would have one more.
By the way, 12 years in a row, we're going for 13 next year against these guys.
See, now he's doing this and it covers your mic. Good job. Good job.
No, see, I'm doing that. I mean, my mic's down here.
Yes, your arm is
I-
across your
I'm-
mic.
Ignore
Anyway,
these fools.
So why does TCU?
12 in a row.
What is TCU gonna do? What is TCU gonna do?
Oh,
You, Steve. What are they gonna do?
I could care less what they do. I don't like Oregon at all. Like,
What do you want them to do?
He's
what
saying
do I
they're going to
want
win.
them to do? I want them to win. I want TCU to make Oregon look just absolutely awful like they are.
Foolish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not going to happen. Sorry.
Well, you're just deciding that their quarterback. By the way, the quarterback for the Texas Christian University Horned Frogs,
Boykin.
Boykins, he only threw for what 3,500 yards and ran for another 600 yards.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. Well, see, your defense, the 115th ranked defense, can't stop anybody,
No, but our offense can outscore them.
can it?
Yeah.
Did you
Well,
outscore Wazoo?
No, we can.
No. Did you outscore Michigan State?
Not quite.
No. Okay. So
We
it
will.
is possible you could lose,
But see, those.
and you will lose.
Okay, well, Michigan State is a top 4 team, and Washington State, we didn't have Vernon Adams.
Okay, you know what? When the Oregon Ducks lose, I'm going to ask you to remember the Alamo. All right, moving on. Let's get on to the number 5 Iowa Hawkeyes against the number 6 Stanford Cardinal in a very exciting Rose Bowl matchup.
It's a good matchup.
All right, guys, I want to get your predictions on this one. Steve, who do you have for this game?
I'm going with Iowa.
And why would you go with Iowa?
Oh, why would I go with Iowa? So, family is.
Your family's from
mine is
Iowa?
Alumni. No, but they're alumni.
You're-
So you gotta, you gotta root for the home team, and more importantly, Stanford being in the Pac-12. Now, unlike Matt, who after the regular season wants to see those in.
You don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I still don't like Stanford.
All right.
All right, so his ancestral homeland is Iowa,
Okay.
and he hates other Pac-12 teams. Matt, who do you have in this game?
I actually am leaning towards Stanford, not for the reasons of it being in Pac-12, but mainly for the reasons of that it's. I think they're a better team. I think they're a more complete team on all sides. I think they will. I think McCaffrey and Hogan, with their experience and with their talent, I think they'll just run right through that Iowa defense.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see an Iowa defense that's been quite strong. Their cornerback, what was their cornerback name? I already forgot now. They have a cornerback who has 8 interceptions, was the second in the nation in picks, and their defense rock solid. Not as good as Michigan, not as good as Ohio State, Wisconsin, but we are back to Big Ten playing rock solid, indomitable defenses. So I'm gonna go with Iowa in this one.
All right.
Speaking of Michigan,
It's gonna be a good game either way.
yeah, oh yeah. Speaking of Michigan, Michigan's in the Citrus Bowl, 9-3 record going against a 10-3 Florida Gators. Matt, who do you have in the Citrus Bowl?
Michigan without a doubt. Florida looked extraordinarily bad at times throughout this season especially against whoever they played. As we talked earlier today at one
I want
point.
to say it was
about
Jacksonville State.
Jacksonville State, yeah, sounds about right. They looked really, really bad against an FCS school, and they were very vulnerable against FBS schools. They got lucky a couple times. Is what really would have happened. Michigan, on the other hand, has looked very solid ever since Harbaugh took over, and I don't see them losing this at all.
All right, what do you have, Steve? Who do you have for this game, the Citrus Bowl?
I'm indifferent. It doesn't matter to me either way who wins. But
Come on, your buddy, the ex 49er coach, your favorite guy of all time.
Oh yeah.
Jim Harbaugh is their coach. Come on, you love him.
Yeah, didn't you call him John Wentz? Anyways,
Jim John, they're all the same. Jimmy John, Jimmy James. Yeah,
no,
you love this guy,
I'll
don't
go
you?
to Florida. No, I hate that guy.
Well, then, so you're kind of rooting for who?
Florida or Michigan?
Yeah,
Pick one.
Florida, right?
Florida, yeah.
You're,
Okay.
you're rooting for Florida
All right, then
because
come
you
out and say
hate
it.
Jim Harbaugh. Say
Fair enough.
In fact-
we'll
Alright.
go with that.
Jim Harbaugh is watching right now. Do you have any PG words to say to him?
Say it right to his face.
Right to face. He's right there. He's watching on YouTube.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, say it
tell
to his
tell Jim
face.
Harbaugh what you think of him. Steve Phifer, what you think.
You suck. Yeah, short and simple.
Short and simple. Just
Okay.
like our friend,
Hey.
Steve Phifer. Short and simple. All right. Oh, hey, we got a question here. Richie Castillo, or is it Castillo?
Castillo.
It could be Richie Castillo. He thinks that Matt and Abraham should do a friendly bet on the game. By the game, I assume he means Arizona Cardinals and Seahawks,
Or Oregon versus TCU.
or
I'm going with the other guy.
Eastern versus Central Washington.
I'd take Eastern on that one.
All right, so I assume he means Oregon and TCU. Well, a friendly bet. So, okay, so Richie,
I'm not going to wear a bikini like Carson Palmer
Richie,
did.
I got to tell you one thing. I got my undergrad at Eastern, and Vernon Adams Jr. is the quarterback who went to Eastern, and he's at Oregon. And I won't do the bet based off of that one reason. If Vernon Adams wasn't playing, then I'd be on Matt's case a little bit more
You're
about
kind
it.
of torn.
But I can't put money against a former Eastern Eagle.
You want to see him do well and get
I wanna see
drafted
him-
high. And,
I would like to see him throw for 600 yards and Oregon loses like
All right.
87 to 82 or something like that. That's what I would really.
87 to
That would be an
82,
incredible
wow.
game.
That'd be-
that would
I
be
don't
up
even wanna
there.
watch that.
That'd be up there with the UW
RG3
and Baylor,
versus Price.
Price. By the way, that was. You're talking about like we're talking about like
62 to 71 or something like that.
we're talking about TCU and Oregon not having defenses. Yeah, that was like at a different level. That was insane. Okay, so
That was about 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
when did
3 years ago.
Yeah, probably. No, maybe more than that.
Anyway,
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Moving
matter. Let's move on. All right, let's go to the number 8 Notre Dame Fighting Irish versus. By the way, Bob, our technical director, I can't avoid racism when I talk about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. That is actually the team name. That is the
This is
nomenclature
their official
that
title
they choose to use.
that they licensed.
I personally am offended. I do not think all Irish are drunks and fight. But Notre Dame
And
fighting
stand like this.
yeah, Irish do not just go around standing like this, do they? But you know what? This isn't a political show. I'm not going to get into that. Okay,
Let's
talk
just dive right into the sports.
just what's on the field here. All right, so who do you have in this game, Steve? Do you have the Buckeyes or the Irish?
Didn't even announce the Buckeyes.
Ohio has a number
Oh
two.
yeah, the Ohio State Fighting Buckeyes.
Ohio is a really good team. Really good team. Solid defense. But I kind of want to root for the underdogs. I'd like to see Notre Dame take it.
Well, they're like a 7-point underdog, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So he's going to go with Notre Dame. What about you?
I make it a rule of thumb to never root for Notre Dame, pretty much ever. And the reality is, this time I think a 7-point underdog isn't enough. I really think they're going to be blown absolutely out. I think it's going to probably be reminiscent of the national championship game a couple years ago, when these two teams, when Notre Dame met Alabama, and Alabama destroyed them.
Alabama's a good team.
It's gonna be a 20-point beatdown by Ohio State.
2004, Ohio State and Notre Dame played. That's the last time they played. It was 34-20, and the score wasn't even that close. Yeah, this is a beatdown. Ohio State's the number 4 defense in the nation. Number 5. Number two
defense.
Number 2 scoring defense. Notre Dame's they're gonna have their lucky Shamrocks knocked off.
You never know. Just the Rams and Seahawks.
No, Notre Dame.
No, this is different.
Notre Dame
college
is
is different than
absolute They've always been overrated. They're a paper tiger. They don't have the talent. They can't match up. Like you said, Ohio State is very good on defense and very good on offense as well.
Let's cover a little bit of playoffs here. Cotton Bowl, the Alabama Crimson Tide at 12-1 face the Michigan State Spartans, again also at 12-1. Matt, who do you have in this game?
I actually have the Michigan State Spartans. I think Connor Cook's going to be healthy, and if Connor Cook is healthy, that's a whole other dimension on that offense that they really, really, really need. And that defense is shut down. They shut down Oregon earlier on this year, so I want Michigan State to go all the way to make our loss worthwhile.
All right, Steve. Steve, what do you think? Are the heavily favored Crimson Tide going to cook it, or are they going to take it and win? He's letting me get away with the Cougat comment.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just,
He has several times already.
I'm minding my manners.
Well, hopefully my tires are not slashed when I go out to drive home later tonight.
No, I just like with my previous bet, I want to go with Michigan State. Alabama's a solid team, though. I really think they're going to win, but that doesn't mean I don't want them to.
Well, I'm asking you to make a prediction here. What's the prediction?
Pick who you think will win.
Alabama.
All right, and why?
They're favored over Michigan State. Number one, they always win. They never lose. Every time I watch them, they don't lose.
They've got a bad habit. It's called
you're
winning.
going with them because they're a dynasty, basically.
I really want Michigan State to win because I hate Alabama, and frickin' Henry undeservedly
Absolutely didn't deserve it.
He's a nice guy. Actually, I saw the award ceremony. He's a nice guy.
I'm sure he's wonderful.
But McCaffrey should have won that Heisman.
Absolutely.
And I know that Henry got 2,000 yards rushing or 1,900, whatever. But come on, man. You're playing they played 4 patsies this year in their off-season schedule, or 3 patsies in their off-season schedule.
It's another 2009 Heisman where Mark Ingram won it when he shouldn't have.
No, not at all. But I want Michigan State to win, but I bet Alabama wins if I had to put money on it.
Okay.
Last game is the Orange Bowl. Number 1 Clemson Tigers versus the number 4 Oklahoma Sooners. Who do you have, Steve?
Oklahoma. Clemson number 11 offense, but I don't think it's enough. They're not even remotely close to being favored to win the game. So I think Oklahoma's just going to walk all over them.
Really? I thought Clemson was favored to win the game.
Oh, maybe I got that backwards.
Do you still stand by what you say?
Oh, sure. Let's go with Oklahoma.
I see a Wazoo fan who's probably going to be too drunk at the end of all these
Hey.
football games
Do not care. Yeah.
to care anymore. He's going to be passed out.
He won his bowl. That's all he cares about.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. What do you think, Matt?
Oklahoma is going to go all the way and win the national championship this year.
All right. So Richie Castillo is saying Notre Dame's going to win the game against the Ohio State
You're wrong, Richie
Buckeyes.
Castillo.
Wow.
You're very wrong. It's going to be a 20 to 30 point beatdown. I'm sorry.
I'm with him. I want to see Notre Dame win.
No, he's not saying he wants them to win. He's saying
I know he's saying they're gonna.
he's saying they're going to win.
I disagree.
Mm.
No, Oklahoma is. Oh, so back to this last game. Oklahoma is going to win it all. They're going to win this game against Clemson. Clemson's kind of a paper tiger, as like Notre Dame. They didn't really get challenged this year, and they play in the ACC, which was incredibly weak this year. I don't see them winning against Oklahoma, who actually was challenged.
I saw Oklahoma maybe 3 times this year, and that quarterback is insanely good.
Yeah.
And you're looking at basically Connor Cook and what is Oklahoma's quarterback name?
I always blank on his name.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you know what? You're going to see those 2 guys in the
I
NFL.
feel terrible. I should
And-
know his name. I've heard it a billion times. I just always blank on it.
I blank on it too right now. But Oklahoma's going to win this one, but that's going to be a close game because, yeah, it's going to be a close game. Not like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish game, which is going to be a beatdown of
Absolute.
epic proportions. I mean, like, Urban
Or the
Meyer.
Oregon TCU game where TCU just loses by like 45 points.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, 115th ranked defense. Let's see how you stop them from
We're going to
scoring.
win 48 to 45. It's going to happen.
115th ranked defense. Yikes.
Number 4 offense.
Number 4
We
offense.
didn't even have our
Do you
starting
know what
quarterback
TCU?
for 3
You know what
games.
TCU's offense is ranked? It's number 3.
Yeah, I was going to say they're up there
So
too.
it's actually better than
Yeah,
your
but their
offense.
defense is
So
much
shut
better.
up.
Their
So,
defense is
48,
not much
45
better.
other way
Well,
around.
their defense is probably like 60th, which is still like 60 better than you guys are.
Yeah, but you got to remember, ours was the 4th defense. Ours was the 4th offense, but we were missing our quarterback for 3 games.
Who cares? You guys have the 115th ranked defense. That is bad. Oh, and with that, we come to the end of our show. I am the man about town, Abraham DeWeese, big Husky fan, got Wazoo fan here, super fan, Steve Phifer, and of course, Matt Paige, the incorrectly choosing of sports teams feller who went to Oregon, I guess. And behind the scenes, we got
That's quite a name.
we got technical director Bob Lucky, and we will see you guys next week at 8 o'clock Pacific. Have a great day, guys.
See you then.